The ultimate tournament of everything.
Welcome to the Ultimate Tournament of Everything, a bracket-style show where we compare random things off Wikipedia to other, probably equally random things off Wikipedia.
That's right, and we do so by climbing up a steep hill to get to a high, rocky overlook that is just above the ocean below. We then put on our shorts, square our shoulders, and jump off screaming the name of each one of these things individually before climbing up to scream the name of the next one. Which one will make us feel real cool on the descent and get a real big splash upon impact? Well, that's going to be the one moving on to the next round of...
The ultimate tournament of everything.
That sounds like one way to probably do things, but I'm a little afraid of heights in this day in particular.
Well, then why don't we do something a little bit more pedestrian? We're going to pull up two random articles at a time, pit them against one another, and see which one remains supreme.
Well, I think that's a great way to do it. Instead, why don't we start with round one?
Round one.
In round one, we have Kamiena in Pskov County against Rajesh Johri.
Okay, excellent. We have a place in Poland versus a guy in Mumbai. Let's see which one of these is going to be the victor in round one.
Well, Kamieni Pskov County is a village in the administrative district of Gminawala. That's a lot of Z's. Krzyzewska within Piotrek County. Lotst Voivodeship. We've had voivodeships on before. That's a word I'm familiar with in central Poland.
That's true. We don't avoid the voivodeships. This particular location lies approximately 4 kilometers or 2 miles west of Wola Krysporska, which is about 13 kilometers southwest of Piotrkow Trybunalski and 51 kilometers, that's 32 miles, south of regional capital of Lodz.
I'm glad they put it in miles there, because if it weren't for that, I'd have no idea what any of this article was ever talking about.
Well, it's talking about a place that is in a place that we have had described to us in this article, but we've reached the end of the article and I know nothing more about this place.
Okay, well, let's move on from a place to a person. Rajesh Johri, who, of course, was the Indian poet, lyricist, ad filmmaker. That's not a person who makes ads and a filmmaker. That's one together. He made film ads, voiceover artist, and anchor based in Mumbai.
And it's tough to pull an anchor out of where it is resting. Now, Rajesh belonged to Uttar Pradesh and was born in 1952 in Polani. His father, a Dr. A.N. Johri, was a professor of English literature and an author, and his mother, Chandra Johri, was well educated. Rajesh was the youngest of 3 brothers and also had 2 sisters. Artistically inclined from a very young age, he penned his first poem at the age of 10, having a deep interest in music and literature, and in one of his interviews, he was quoted as saying his father's paternal grandmother, so his dad's mom, used to pen bhajans in praise of Lord Krishna, and that's who he got it from.
I believe we call your dad's mom your great-grandma, if I'm not mistaken. I think they probably could have put great-grandma on his dad's side, but that's okay. Now, I'm wondering, if you're 10 and you write your first poem at 10, is it any good, or they're just like, well, okay, he started writing around when he was 10, and that first one's probably pretty terrible, right?
Well, I think that if it was so terrible, he probably wouldn't have had such a good time and wanted to keep on doing it. But then again, you got to fail to succeed. You know, you just got to make sure that you get up one more time than you fall, Rob.
Well, that's generally good. Generally. I mean, there's some advice in there somewhere, I'm sure of it.
I'm sure of it.
He was not without struggles, having no connection whatsoever with the music industry, leading to a single-handed struggle. He left for his journey to the city of his dreams. Now, this sounds like the beginning of a country song, but I don't think it is one. But it just might be. I don't know. What are country songs like in India? I know what they're like in Indiana. What are they like in India?
I don't know if they have horses, but I do know they have different feelings about cows. So I'm not sure if they have cowboys over there or if they have some sort of different boys over there. But I know they're having a great time, and they're probably pretty good with the lasso.
I wouldn't know anything about the lasso. I don't know how culturally appropriated the lasso may have been. Now let's talk about his early career, 1972 to 1990. His first song was sung by Chandru Atama, and this song was called Chanchal Nan Tiher, and soon after that his career picked up wonderfully, crossing milestone after milestone. Soon after his Bhajan Hari Da Dian Laga, Mir Shayam Ternama, and Man Ra Tan Ha Duk Ka Gaon were sung by Mohammed Rafi, which became quite popular. Jory gave his voice for numerous ad jingles of that era, namely Ajanta Watches for the Ajanta Group, Nescafe, and Vardam Knitting Yarn. Look at that.
That's some good yarn, I'm going to tell you right now. And besides being a representative for what can only be described as, the pinnacle of yarn?
Yeah, it's probably the best of the yarns.
I've got to think so. He wrote a bunch of things that a bunch of people really enjoyed and sang on their own. A lot of popular songs, popular albums, sung by a whole bunch of popular people. Now, he would create a niche for himself in the world of Indian pop. His album Halka Nasha was very well received. It had ghazals sung by Hari Haran. The song Sa Ni Da Pa from the Colonial Cousins, a fusion album by Hari Ahan and Lewis, was the first ever offering that was part of MTV Unplugged. He also worked for many online projects in his era of online channels, giving his services as a lyricist, a voiceover artist, and as a brand ambassador for teleshopping product English Guru.
So not only was he on MTV Unplugged, he was also on the Indian QVC. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. And you better call now because these albums are running out, as was his time on this planet. He suffered kidney disease in the last few years of his life. As a result, he suffered cardiac arrest in March of 2017 and died at a hospital in Mumbai.
It's a really dark segue. There's there ain't no jingle for that. Well, I think if we had to pick one of these, it sounds a little disrespectful to pick this place in Poland over the life that was the career of the man who made the jingles.
Rajesh Jory. And I couldn't agree more. This town in Poland, you got to represent yourself a little bit better. Give us something to work with. Maybe we'll revisit you in the, the loser's bracket, the consolation tourney, if you will, that we'll probably never get to. So, that being said, Rajesh Jory, you are victorious in this round one of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Yeah, there's not quite a consolation bracket. I guess if you're a loser, we just won't talk about you again.
Yeah, there's no consolation for not being victorious in existence. Basically, survival of the fittest. You got to keep on going, just as we do to this next round, round number 2.
It's time for round 2.
In round 2, we have another word I probably can't pronounce, but I'm going to give it a shot. Panmagi against the Premier Sports, the Philippine TV channel.
The battle of the peas. The fighting peas, if you will, here. Going up against one another. We're going to have a veritable split pea soup of a round. Let's get right into it.
Panmagi is Burmese, also spelt a different way and also known by a different name, is a Burmese rice and fertility spirit, traditionally worshipped by farmers in Upper Myanmar.
Indeed. Now, Panmagi originates from fertility cult practices throughout Southeast Asia. Similar rice goddesses and tutelary spirits. Tutelary, my new favorite word of the day.
Tutelary. What is tutelary just having to do with rice?
I don't know. You tell me. Look that up while I read the rest of this. Another tutelary spirit is Phosop in modern-day Thailand and Dewey Sri in modern-day Indonesia. Similar rice goddesses and these spirits exist throughout the region. Now, the worship of Panmagi is commonplace throughout rural Upper Myanmar, especially in the dry zone regions around Bagan and Magwe. Magyi is worshipped during the 1st to 8th days of the traditional Burmese month of Tabong.
Okay, well, I found out what a tutelary is, and they are guardian spirits.
Awesome.
So this is the guardian spirit of the rice, probably.
Very cool. I think we need more stuff like that.
More guardian spirits or more rice? Are you hungry?
I am starving.
Yeah, well, Taco Bell doesn't have that. Well, they do have rice, don't they?
They do, but they don't have fertility goddesses.
Well, they also don't have Premier Sports, the Philippine TV channel. This is a 24-hour Philippine pay television channel dedicated to sporting events owned by TAP Digital Media Ventures Corporation. It serves as a secondary sports channel of TAP Sports.
Yeah, this is basically the ESPN2 of Philippine sport television. Its official launch was on October 1st of 2021 as a direct response to the closure of the Fox Sports channel for the said region.
That doesn't make much sense to me. You had a sports channel, it closed, and you're like, you know what, we're doing it again a day later.
You know what would be a great idea?
More sports!
Every vacuum must be filled, unless it is the deep, dark vacuum of space, which will eventually consume us all. As will this high-fighting football league that we're mostly talking about here. Premier Football is dedicated channel broadcasting several coverages of international football leagues, and Premier Sports 2 is a second sports channel under the Premier brand. It primarily broadcasts tennis, golf, and rugby.
Now, if you're wondering what what sports do they play in the Philippines, or at least show on TV there on these channels? Well, let me tell you. We have American football. We have one that's just called athletics, which I thought they were all athletics, but that's okay. There's auto racing, there's golf, mixed martial arts and boxing, rugby, snooker, soccer, also known as football, tennis, volleyball, wrestling, and non-sports programming. Here's where I know it's fun. Non-sports programming like golf. You heard me, golf.
Now, I have been known to find, let's say, football games online, okay? And so you're watching them, they're streaming live, but they're different because you're getting the commercials from wherever it's from. So, like, I'm watching the Packers play from a channel that's in New Zealand. And so they're talking, I've all got accents. It's different products, different types of jingles. I really recommend it.
Yeah, you really can't understand most of the people from Green Bay anyway, so how's it very any different?
You wouldn't understand a culture of winning, would you, Rob?
You're right, I wouldn't. I would not. That's why we host this podcast where everyone wins and loses.
That's right. Eventually, we all fall short. But who's going to fall short in this round?
I think I actually have to give the win to the rice spirit.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
It's got to be the rice spirit.
Pan Mag Yi, you are Pan Mag me
going.
And Rob.
Pan Mag going.
Yeah. On to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Cool.
Very cool. May they guard and protect the rice in the fields. And you know what? Gosh darn it. May they look over us as we move on to round 3.
It's time for round 3.
I'm not made of rice, but that sure would be nice. Do the kids still do like TikTok challenges? You need to work tutelar into your sentence as your TikTok challenge over the next 2 days here.
All right, I promise you, in every single TikTok that I put out in the next 2 days, I will use the word tutelary.
Wonderful. Okay, in round 3, we have the American Legion Hall in Olympia, Washington against Siam Reap River.
Okay, a place where you might find in either of these locations skilled and talented veterans hanging out on a Saturday afternoon and or early morning. We've got the American Legion Hall in Olympia, Washington versus a beautiful river. Looks like it's in Cambodia.
Now, the American Legion Hall at 219 West Legion Way in Olympia, Washington was built in 1921. Served as a meeting hall and as a sport facility and was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1987. It wasn't around all that long to be a national registered place. That's like, what would it be, 66?
Yeah.
So once you hit 66, you also could be a national registered historic place. Now, the concrete, stucco, and brick structure was designed by Joseph Woleb. He might be famous. He's got the little blue going on here. Architect from Washington. Okay.
Well,
famous enough.
Now we know him, and so do you. Looking at a little picture of this place, no doubt for a Legion Hall, it's pretty big. It almost looks more like a school, I would say, at a glance. An elementary school, perhaps, in lovely Olympia, Washington, just at the bottom of the Puget Sound, and looking over the Olympic Peninsula there. Probably a lovely place to have a Legion, probably a lovely place to have a hall. But is that more lovely than the side of this Cambodian river?
Well, it really depends where this river goes and what the river runs through. Now, this river flows through Siam Reap province in northwest Cambodia, and the Siam Reap River was originally an offtake channel constructed during the Angkor period, used to divert water from the Puak River southward, probably to the East Baray. Now, because of the straight nature of a channel, the water flowed much faster than a natural river.
Ooh.
This caused the bed of the channel to erode as much as 10 meters in some areas, and probably caused problems with diverting the water to the East Baray.
Water engineers do fear this reaper here. Now, over the past 1,000 years, the channel has gained small meanders and a unique ecosystem, and it's more accurate to call it a river than a channel per se. Very interesting. They looks like, water is going to move, and it's going to move through all of us, hopefully 3 times a day.
I think you're thinking of meals. But anyway, I thought for sure this channel was going to be younger, but it sounds like it's an old channel. It always amazes me. You look back and you're like, how did they do that thing? You think we can build this channel that turned into a river. We can send a man to space. They can build the pyramids, and someone still hasn't figured out how to get the smoke alarm to stop being so freaking annoying when you don't replace the battery.
Yeah, it's so annoying when you don't burn with fire.
That's not what I said.
Beep. All right, well, we've got ourselves a burning fire of competition here right now. The American Legion Hall in Olympia facing off against this Reap River. Wow. Rob, what do you think?
It's got to be the river, because if you were to put the building in the river, the building loses.
This is very true. And we can lose a river, but we can't stand to lose many more of these rivers. So, Siam Reap River, you're Reap leaping into the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
I'm really sorry. Imaginary abandoned building. I guess you're not abandoned or imaginary. You're just old, and it's fine. And you're not even that old, which is why I'm not impressed by you.
I want to know why it says it was on the National Registry of Historic
I think
Buildings.
that's just when it was listed, because that's like the most exciting thing that's ever happened there.
Well, it doesn't say it's still listed there. Did it become less historic? Once you're historic, can you become less historic over time?
You're only history when people remember you. So as soon as people forget about you, you're not history anymore. You're just forgotten.
That being said, folks, we're going to ask you to subscribe so you never forget to catch an extra one of our episodes so that we can stay here with you. Moving you on gently like a floating river to round 4.
My round 4 is ready.
Some say the art of the segue is dead, but they haven't listened to this podcast lately. In round 4, we have Yagan Aksaray against the French submarine Phoenix Q-157.
Ooh, we've got something that it's big and bold, won't ever hide itself. That's the village of Yagan in Turkey, facing off something that's very well known and equipped to hide itself, a submarine known to be underwater, in fact called Phoenix.
Now everyone buckle up. The article on this village in Turkey is incredibly long, and I'm going to try and read it so we can all hear it. Here we go. Yagan is a village in the Aksaray district, Aksaray province, Turkey. Its population is 263 people as of 2021.
Excellent. Very well done there.
The end.
Yep. Very nice. A good succinct article, I would say. We know that it's a village. It's in Turkey. We know exactly how many people are there. We don't know the families.
No, that's our favorite statistic, number of households or families, not listed here. Maybe one, maybe 263. We don't know.
They're probably all one big happy family.
I would hope so.
This might be the happiest place on earth. It's right smack dab in the center of Turkey. This is where the best stuffing is if you're thinking of Turkey as a turkey.
No, hang on. You can't be the happiest place on earth unless you have to pay $150 to get in, wait in line for 9 hours, and it's in Florida.
Oh, but I mean, okay, hold on. Let's take a moment though, because they've got these big old turkey legs down at Disney. If you ever get the chance to go,
Smoked turkey leg.
Oh,
comes
man,
on its own
are they
stick
good.
called a bone.
Yeah, they're They're too good. They're too good. They're so good that you're going to eat one of those, knowing that you're about to go on Space Mountain or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
you know,
mistake we're happy to make.
no, you look at it and you go, "I can't have a turkey leg." Yes, you can, and then. It's so good. We don't allow it in the rest of the world. You don't see them. You can't just get a turkey leg at the Arby's. Arby's, are you listening, by the way? You have all the meats except the turkey legs. You'd sell out.
Normalize walking around with giant Flintstone-sized portions of meat still on the bone.
Yeah. Can we bring back all the things from the 1200s? Leather pouches full of gold, carrying around swords.
Loincloths.
Okay, maybe not everything. Let's talk about this French submarine. The Phoenix was a French Navy Redouble-class submarine of the M6 series commissioned in 1932, and she sank in a diving accident in June of 1939, and everyone died. Everyone on the submarine, not like everyone ever, but it was sad.
It says they at least lost their hands.
Yeah, that's Navy speak for all the people.
Well, yeah, they're gone. Didn't quite make it. Now, Phoenix was part of a fairly homogeneous series of 31 deep-sea patrol submarines, also called 1,500-tonners, because of their displacement. All entered service between 1931 and 1939. The Redoubtable class submarines were 92.3 meters long and 8.1 meters in beam and had a draft of 4.4 meters. There's probably some explanation of what that means, but I can tell you it wasn't all that big. They could dive to a depth of 80 meters, or mitres. They've got it spelt in that fancy way. They displaced 1,572 tons on the surface and 2,082 tons, 2,049 long tons underwater.
Now, they had two diesel engines producing a combined 6,000 horsepower and had a maximum speed of 21.4 miles an hour. When submerged, their two electric motors produced a combined 2,250 horsepower and allowed them to reach 12 miles per hour. Also called deep cruising submarines, their range on the surface was 10,000 nautical miles at 10 knots, and underwater they could travel 100 nautical miles at 5 knots. It always amazes me. Like, this was Army technology 100 years ago, and I don't know if much has changed or if it's just changed so much that it's such a secret and we're not allowed to know about it.
Well, it's kind of like going from a sweet cake through the evolutions of technology and taste, and now today we have things like
Ice cream cake.
cream-filled Long Johns with sprinkles.
Sprinkles.
We can make a cake look like a chicken leg.
Yeah. Have you seen that show, Is It Cake?
We're not sponsored or anything, but that is a good one. Now, let's fast forward to what everybody wants to know about, the thing that everyone wishes didn't happen. The loss of this here submarine. Yes. At 8:57 on the 15th of June, 1939, Phoenix and L'Espoir got back underway to take part that morning in training maneuvers with the light cruiser and an aircraft in the South China Sea off Cameron, northeast of Saigon. This would include a mock attack on the La Motte Piquet by the two submarines, and at 9:30 they exited the bay. 9:37, they were headed due west at 12 knots. They turned a little bit. Looks like another boat was participating in maneuvers. It reported it had sighted the Phoenix on the surface of the horizon and was approaching. Goes on and on. L'Espoir fired her exercise torpedoes at La Motte Piquet and surfaced an hour after submerging. However, Phoenix failed to surface after the exercise, and L'Espoir began to search for her. With concern for Phoenix's safety growing as the day wore on, L'Espoir transmitted a message at 12:18 to report Phoenix missing. When the news reached the French commander-in-chief of the naval forces in the Far East Squadron, Vice Admiral Jean Decoux, at 1500, he ordered the La Motte Piquet to get back underway and return to the area to join the search. Let's see if they found it.
Well, here's the thing. They never did, and they're trying to figure out exactly why, so they could never actually refloat it, which means they could never figure out exactly why it sank, but they have a couple of theories. One being that this submarine class had poor habitability in tropical climates, making it very hot and stifling in the sub, and rumors circulated that the engine room crew had bragged of shunting the closing indicators of the engine panels without the knowledge of the officers, improving the ventilation, causing the panels to remain open during the dive, resulting in catastrophic flooding. Now, another possibility was flooding resulting from one or more of her deck hatches accidentally being left open when submerged. However, an investigation that concluded on July 19th of 1939 determined that the most probable cause was an explosion that occurred when one of the batteries released hydrogen gas due to the poor material condition, and that explosion had killed or incapacitated the officers and men in her control room, rendering them incapable of carrying out the maneuvers necessary to save the ship.
Well, you mess around and you're going to find out.
Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to mess around. I mean, it's sad. It's not great.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Well, that's true. I think if we had to pick between the French submarine disaster or the happiest place in Turkey, I think we have to go with the happiest place in Turkey.
I am so on board with that. Yagan Arsare, you're A-okay with us. Moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament junk everything.
Hey guys, they're random articles, and every once in a while, they're sad.
Yeah, but nothing makes you happier than a big old submarine sandwich, wouldn't you say? When was the last time you had one of them long bun submarine deli sandwiches?
This is in such poor taste. And anyway, round 5.
Round 5.
In round 5, we're going to talk about Carterville Formation against Nahalki.
Ooh. Two things that go way, way back. We've got a geologic formation in Missouri facing off against a village in the Firozpur district of Punjab, India.
They're almost neighbors. Now, the Carterville Formation is a geologic formation in Missouri, preserves fossils dating back to the Carboniferous period.
Ooh. Carboniferous. That was back when everybody ate cars and buns, right?
Yeah, it was right before the paleo diet. Now, Nahalki, the village of the Firozpur district of Punjab, India, is located in the Zura Tehsil, and according to the 2011 census of India, Nahalki has 84 households. It's our favorite statistic.
You gotta love it. Although you also gotta love that they have an effective literacy rate of 52.11. Not ideal, but
Not
more
great.
than half.
Don't gotta love that.
Well, it could be worse.
Yeah,
They're
but that
working
means,
on it.
like, out of the two of us, one of us can't read.
I messed up 3 words in that sentence.
We couldn't do this podcast if we couldn't read.
Well, that's we could try.
I mean, we could, but listen, kids, you need to learn how to read so you too can have a very unsuccessful podcast that only 4 people listen to and they're all family. That could be you.
Or it could not, because you could also be part of the 48%. Now, looking at this, we've got a total of 84 households. Do we have an absolute number?
442
people. 442. Okay, so of those 442, looks like a little bit more than half, a little bit more ratio-wise than the people that can read are male, and a little bit less than those that can't are female. So it's definitely a male-dominated population. Not that many kids, it would seem. Yeah.
Yeah, only 39 total children below 6.
Yeah, it's not a lot of kids.
No, not a lot of kids.
Probably not a lot of called in for schools, and that might explain the...
The literacy rate?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. That's probably true. The main group here, cultivators, so farm workers.
Great.
Okay. So
Good
they
stuff.
little farm town in India, and some of them
have
can't
a
read.
Geologic formation here. We don't have a lot of information. That's why its segment was so short. It's in Missouri. It preserves fossils. I mean, that is inherently cool, though. You gotta admit that.
Well, if I had to pick, like, okay, if it was just the state of Missouri, sorry, Missouri, you don't win. But this formation, I think has enough staying power, obviously, to move on.
I think I agree with you. Nihawk, you're going to have to take a walk because Carterville Formation, you took the shape of a victor here in this round, and you'll be moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
You might just be rocks in the ground, but you're a winner in our hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably hearts in the rocks, if you think about it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know if hearts fossilize all that well, but maybe.
Well, whatever doesn't fossilize gets turned into something or other.
Yeah, something like round 6.
Making a turn around the last curve. He comes around the last second. There you have it. There is your winner. Round 6.
In round 6, we have Longawira, the parish, against LaShun Daniels.
We have two hard-hitting competitors here. The parish of Longawira in, looks like, New South Wales. Northwest New South Wales, to be specific. And it's got trees. At least we can tell that by a picture here. Going off against former NFL footballer LaShun Daniels Jr., a running back, currently a free agent.
Now, the geography of this parish is mostly flat and arid, although ephemeral lakes are found there occasionally. The parish has a Köppen climate classification of BWH, meaning hot desert. The nearest town is Broken Hill to the south and White Cliffs to the east. The parish is on the traditional lands of the Banjagali Aboriginal peoples, and Longawira is located at 31 degrees, 21 minutes, 25 seconds south, and 142 degrees, 6 minutes, 18 seconds east.
Now, the aforementioned ephemeral lakes, right? That's pretty cool. We're talking about Wales. So this is it's Europe.
Nope. This one's in Australia.
This one's in Australia. So it's way far away from Europe. You're down almost, basically, in this place. So we've got ephemeral lakes and ponds. These are basins that remain flooded for short periods of time during a year, but may not hold water for several years if the rainfall regime is not suitable to producing flooding.
It's like puddles. They're like big puddles.
They're like big puddles that only fill, let us say, episodically.
During the rainy season.
Sometimes, but sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not a great place to plan your next bass fishing tournament. But a place that might be is, oh, look at this, a great football player who happened to play for a number of great teams and one very great team.
I don't think anybody wants to plan a fishing trip in a football player, Mike.
No, but these places that he played.
Okay, that makes more sense. So he has played college football at the University of Iowa and then signed with the New England Patriots. He was also a member of the Los Angeles Chargers, the Washington Redskins, and, oh, is this why you said good? The Green Bay Packers. Yeah, during their really great winning season of, 2017? How'd they do?
I don't know. Probably better than other teams.
Oh, let's see. He played for them in 2018 and then was waived 13 days later. He must have been, listen, I'm sorry, sir. It doesn't sound like you were that great. I mean, I don't want to throw shade. You're better than I am at whatever you're doing here, but clearly you didn't do it.
He had only 3 career rushing attempts, averaging 4.7 yards So he's got a total of 14. That's moving the ball down the field. Not as effectively as one may have wanted to do so, but he is the brother of offensive lineman James Daniels, who was his teammate at Iowa and was drafted by the Bears.
Well, there you go. That's a winning team.
That's historically inaccurate. Now, his father was a redshirted offensive lineman that played at Ohio State, a Big Ten rivalry in the household there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so who's going to score a touchdown here in this round? Is it going to be the Parish with the ephemeral lakes, with or without, actually, the ephemeral lakes? Or is it going to be the football player who is currently without a team?
Well, the thing about an ephemeral lake is eventually it could be a lake again. I think his time in the NFL might be over.
The guy is, 27 years old? Young buck.
Yeah, 27, real young. Hasn't played for a team since 2018.
He's a sleeper. I think that the Bears should take a chance on him again.
Yeah, they should trade all their draft picks.
I agree.
They don't even need it. They don't even need that to do, but they just should. They should trade away all their draft picks.
Yep.
And then sign him.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay.
They should make
That's
him
good.
the head coach as well.
Yeah, they could definitely do that. And while we're at it, is Aaron Rodgers playing for the Jets yet?
No one knows, but the one thing that we do know is that Parish of Longawira, you're going to be moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
He's like Schrodinger's quarterback, isn't he?
I'd tell you, but then one of us would not exist. But you know what does exist? Round 7.
Round 7.
In round 7, we have Big Stock against John Nana.
Okay, we've got a royalty-free international micro stock photography website, Big Stock, facing off against, looks like a little less stocky of an individual, John Nana, an American fencer and attorney currently serving as the Westchester County Attorney. Fencers aren't known for being big, stocky people, if I recall.
Yeah, no, you don't want to get stabbed. The smaller you are, the less stabby you kind of are.
Yeah, that's true.
Stabbable.
Less to hit.
Yeah, you want to be very, kind of narrow.
Yeah, if you could almost not exist, if you could be an ephemeral fencer,
that would help. That'd be helpful.
You'd
yeah,
be so effective.
You wouldn't lose, provided you could hold your sword. So, Big Stock is an online royalty-free international microstock photography website. Sells images via a credit-based system, and their photos, vectors, and illustrations cost between 1 and 6 credits each, depending on size, with credits costing anywhere from 90 cents to $3. Big Stock was founded in California in the fall of 2004. I think they mean the season, not like the downfall of 2004, but it was a year. Big Stock adds to its library every day as photographers and designers from around the world submit their work. And as of 2015, they had more than 25 million royalty-free images. I don't know how royalty-free they are if you're paying for them with credits.
Well, you're paying for access.
Hey, people got to eat. I got no problem with it. People got to eat.
Can't eat an NFT, though.
No, you can't. That's just money laundering with extra steps. Let's be honest. That's all it is.
What do you think an NFT would taste like?
Fraud.
What sauce would go best with an NFT?
What sauce would go best with fraud, the NFT? Tears of the Millionaires.
Horseradish it is. So Big Stock photos, if you're doing an ad, if you're doing stuff like that, you just want to find some pictures of some generally happy people, somebody holding a dog while your narrator fast talks all of the side effects of whatever drug you're peddling. This is the place you might go for that.
Yeah, they're owned by Shutterstock, so they're doing the exact same thing Shutterstock is doing, just under a different name. So people are like, I don't want to work for Shutterstock. I'll work for Big Stock. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Let's
get on to a different thing. Mr. John Nana.
Now, he was born July 8th, 1948. the American fencer and attorney. He will beat you on the battlefield and in the courtroom. Currently serves as the Westchester County Attorney. He attended Regis High School in Manhattan, graduating in 1966, and received his bachelor's from Princeton in 1970.
Oh my. He competed in the individual and team foil events at the 1972 Summer Olympics. He also qualified for the 1980 Olympic team, but did not compete due to the Olympic Committee's boycott of the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow, Russia.
Now, for his boycott, he was awarded a gold congressional medal instead, one of 461 athletes to receive one. He later became an attorney, specializing in insurance law. He was mayor of Pleasantville, New York, and he became a member of the Westchester County Board of Legislators.
Well, how about that? From relative riches to other relative riches, it seems like he has scraped, fought, and won his way through life. Got a lot of success under his belt. But do they have more success than you could get yourself with a whole bunch of stock photos of random things?
Well, here's my question. So John Nana, if he gets in an argument with someone, if there's a disagreement, do you think he settles it with words or with swords, or do you think he gives the other person the option? He's like, listen, we can argue, or in my car I have swords.
I think that you just argue to a point. They say that the pen is mightier than the sword, but that really only goes so far.
Yeah, that really only goes until there are actual swords.
That's right. And what is a pen if not an actual
Tiny
sword
sword.
anyways?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
with something inside. So basically, if he's fencing with, what would that be, a poisonous sword at that point?
No, maybe. Ink's not all poisonous.
It's not good for you.
No, I wouldn't drink it. If you're drinking ink, stop right now. Stop.
Stop.
Stop. Why are you still doing this?
They're still doing
They're
this.
still doing this.
Stop drinking.
We will send John Nana to your house
We will.
because he's the winner.
The ultimate tournament junk everything.
What a guy.
Oh, just exceptional. Look, what I want in a lawyer is someone who is physically threatening. I want someone intimidating to the point where the facts of the case don't matter. The habeas corpus is going to be, their corpus on the corpus of the courtroom.
Someone doesn't know what habeas corpus means. Anyway,
I say, would you by chance have any round 8?
Round 8!
in round 8, we have Paul Gauss against Government Medical College of Palicod.
We got a American former professional basketball player here. Definitely can't wait to jump into this one. Facing off against a government medical college in what nation are we in here? India.
India again.
In India,
A lot of
again,
India
yeah,
today.
showing up, representing. I think they're going to be. Did I hear that they're going to be the most populous country in the world pretty soon?
Yeah, I think so. I think China lost a bunch of people.
Well, good for. I mean, not for losing all the people, but good for in India. They're really up and coming.
They're one of I think they are the largest democracy in the world. They go out to all these little villages, like the ones we learned about, and they make sure people can vote.
Well, that's just so sweet.
I know. It's nice. India's got some things going for it. I mean, not like the scam centers that are going on. That's bad. I know, again,
Those seem to be pretty successful.
people got to eat, but could you stop?
Apparently not. Let's not stop either and jump into these articles. Paul Gauss, a basketball player, played for the Arthur P. Shalleck High School in Pittsgrove Township, New Jersey from 2001 to 2005. He was a 4-year starter, averaging 25 points a game as a freshman, 27 as a sophomore, 30 plus in his junior and senior seasons. Set a single game scoring record, dropping 52 points on Overbrook High School in a 94-80 win.
You know what that tells me? That tells me there's no defense going on. He set his record, and the other team didn't lose by all that much.
He didn't.
No. And maybe defense is harder now. I don't know. During his senior campaign in 2004, he led Shalleck to a 25-5 record and its first ever boys basketball South Jersey Group 1 championship, as well as its first trip to the state final, where they lost 66-69 in overtime to Science Park High School. In the loss, he scored 34 points, went 8 for 18, shooting on three-point attempts, and for the season, he averaged 33.9 points, 6.7 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 3.7 steals, so there is some defense there per game.
Now, it wasn't just basketball that he was just a baller at. He also excelled in other sports, including football, where he was an all-state cornerback and running back, leading his school to 2 straight South Jersey Group 1 championships in 2003 and 04. The latter being an undefeated 12-0 season. He drew interest from Rutgers and Ohio State for his quickness and ability to read the opposing quarterbacks, though he was never given offers to these schools. In the springtime, he also participated in the 100 and 200-meter dashes, the 4x400-meter relay, and high jump events, finishing in the top 5 in the SJ Group 1 during his junior and senior seasons for the high jump, garnering all-conference accolades in the process.
Yeah, dude is really, really good at lots of things. Now, it looks like for his professional career, I'm going to skip college. We're going to go right to the pros here. He was drafted by the Las Vegas Locomotives of the UFL in June of 2009 and was released before the season began. But don't worry, that is just the beginning of this journey. In 2010, he signed with USC Freiburg, a professional basketball team in Germany's Pro A. In 28 games played during that season, he averaged 15.9 points, and his steals average of 2.8 was the second in the league. He now played for Newcastle Eagles in the BBL and made his debut on September 20th of 2011 in their trophy win against the Glasgow Rocks. He was included in the Week 4 BBL Team of the Week.
Ooh, Team of the Week, and one of the players of the night, I'd have to say. One of the better basketball players that we've discussed this evening.
Yeah, isn't he the only one?
I think so. But he's not the only one in this round. Let's jump over to our other competitor, Government Medical College in Palakkad.
Now, this is known as the Institute of Integrated Medical Science, or IIMS, and is a medical college established in the Palakkad district on 2014 by the government of Kerala under the management of the Kerala State Scheduled Caste Development Department.
The institute is affiliated to the Kerala University of Health Sciences, or KUHS, the Fightin' Coos.
Yeah, them. It's near some water. That's nice.
It doesn't look too far from water. I mean, as far as places go, this seems as though it could be worse.
Yeah. It looks like there's a picture of the building.
Near water.
It's from the road. It's from the highway. It looks like they were driving. They didn't even stop. They're just like, I need to get a picture for the article.
It's cloudy there, apparently.
This just in. Places have clouds.
It is ephemerally cloudy.
It's not, it's not incorrect, but it's also not. Okay. So let's go back to Paul Gauss here. They're calling him an American former professional basketball player. They don't list a single NBA team here, ever.
Well, he played in Germany.
So German professional.
Are you saying that that's less professional than American basketball?
Would you say the MLS is less professional than the Premier League?
I would never be caught dead discussing soccer, so no, I probably would never say that.
Would you say the CFL is less professional than the NFL?
Look,
that's a long pause.
Another recurring theme tonight. Everybody got to eat. Everybody got to get paid, and this guy, he had to go to Germany, and he did eat. Probably a lot of Wurst. But he came back, got engaged to recording artist Bianca Ingram on September 24th in 2019 in front of everyone at the Amazonian Nights showcase. And I think that's not the reason, but it's definitely not a detractor for me moving him on as my selection to the next round.
I think I can agree with that only because I wouldn't even know where to start a tiebreaker for this building in India that had 3 sentences in its article.
It's got 100 undergrads. It's not that big of a college.
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Congratulations, Paul Gauss. You're moving on.
Sounds like you've got a lot going for you. And we've got to get going on to the next round. Round 9.
Ba-doom.
It's about time for round 9.
Round 9.
In round 9, we have Svetak against Morten Thorisson.
Holy cow. This may be the round as foretold by the tablets.
The tablets did foretell of a round between the Russian monthly science and literature magazine and the Norwegian Greco Roman wrestler.
I mean, it's literally what it said on the tablet.
That's the tablet, also known as the computer monitor. Svetak was a Russian monthly science and literature magazine published in St. Petersburg in 1860 to 1862 by the publisher Dmitry Kalinovsky. Alexander Mikhailov was its editor-in-chief.
Now, this was a liberal production. Svetak advocated the ideas of moderate social reforms. They supported the 1861 Emancipation Act and positioned itself as an intermediary between the feuding Slavophiles and Westerners in Russia. The translated works of foreign writers constituted the considerable part of its literary section. Among the Russian authors who contributed to Svetak regularly were Pyotr Weinberg, Apollon Grieryev, Mikhail Dostoevsky, Lev May, Dmitry Miniev. You want to take a stab at a couple of these? Are great.
Yeah, Alexei Plusheyev and Nikolai Strakov and Nikolai Sherbina. I know that guy. I don't know that guy. I know Dostoevsky, though. I've heard that one before.
I think there's a different one, too.
You think there's a different one, too?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What I do know is that the caricature leaflet came out as a monthly supplement to Svetak. 1860 to 1862, not a long running.
No, it was around. It was around enough where we were apparently talking about it, and there were some famous people there as a part of it, and apparently it helped get this Emancipation Act passed. So that's good.
It tried to. I actually don't know if that worked out for them.
Yeah, well, Russia's not doing well right now. I don't know if that's their fault. I think we can blame that on like one guy.
Oh, actually, it turns out that reform did effectively abolish serfdom throughout the Russian something or other.
Is that why they're trying to bring it back?
I don't know, but surf's up, dude, in Svetak. Not anymore because they passed that act. Speaking of passing, let's pass the torch on to our other competitor, the Greco-Roman wrestler, Morten Thorisson.
He was born January 2nd, 1997, and won a gold medal in the 67-kilogram event at the 2020 European Wrestling Championships, held right before touching was no longer allowed. You guys all remember 2020, right? He hails from Bodo. Bodo? That sounds right. In 2018, he won one of the bronze medals in the men's 67-kilogram event at the European U23 Wrestling Championship, held in Turkey. And a month earlier, he competed in the 67 event again at the European Wrestling Championships without winning a medal. He was eliminated in his second match by Fredrik Bjerhus of Denmark. And in 2019, he competed again in the 67-kilogram event at the World Wrestling Championships held in Nur-Sultan, Kazakhstan, again without winning a medal. He was eliminated in his second match by Frank Stabler of Germany.
What we're going to find going through this article is that he would qualify and then get eliminated. He also had a very consistent body weight, which is, at least handy. It's good for your body, I think, to not fluctuate too much. I don't really know. He stayed real consistent, though. What I'd like to address is this picture of him.
Yeah, okay, so in the picture here, he's being interviewed.
Click it so it's bigger. It's worth it. It's
so
so worth it.
He's being interviewed. I'm going to describe this using my descriptive words here. He's in front of the World Championships banner. There's some microphones in front of his face. He is bleeding from, I think, 3 or 4 spots. He is wearing a bandage all the way around his head, from his forehead going back over both of his ears, behind his head. Looks like his ears have been in rough shape. I think he's missing a tooth.
At least one.
And I don't know if it's from the match or if that's just his look. Is he bleeding from his other eye, too?
Yes, there is.
It gets worse the longer you look at it. Okay, so this picture is from the World Wrestling Championships in Oslo, Norway in 2021, day 8 of the championships, and it looks like they've just been beating him up for 8 days.
Yeah, I got to think that there's a better picture of this guy out there somewhere. Whoever posted this on his official Wikipedia did him dirty. Although, you said the World Wrestling Championships in 2021?
I did.
That was where he was eliminated after qualifying.
Well, there you go.
Now, in 2020, he did take first place in the European Championships in Rome, Italy. So, I mean, he broke that.
Well, that's good. He did eventually win something. But the question is he going to win this, or is the short-lived science magazine Sverak going to beat him again?
Okay, so it's a Russian magazine.
Yep, Russian magazine, but like when Russia was
Norwegian Greco Roman wrestler.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like the Berlin Wall.
It's in no way like the Berlin Wall.
Don't worry about it.
Not going to worry about it. I am worried about your selection though here, Rob. Who are you choosing?
I think I am going to give it to Sverak.
I just want to see this picture of Morten Thoresen again. So I'm going to disagree, and we're going to find ourselves at an impasse.
Time for a tiebreaker.
Hearing the music and knowing that we can't agree, the only thing left to do is to disagree violently.
That's right. We are going to bang our heads together until one of us looks the most like Morten Thoresen. That one is going to be the one moving on their selection to the next round.
Don't do that. I did that in high school, and some kid broke my nose in choir.
It literally happened. I was there.
David Fielding, if you are listening, I will never forgive you.
We'll just bleep out his last name.
No, he should hear it. He should hear this. Okay. We're not going to do that because I managed to break my nose very evenly, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to. It's not a glass nose. I'm not going to. You're distracting me. I think we should pick a number between 1 and 10,000 instead.
Okay. I'm going to go with how many times you could bash me in the face before I looked like this guy, because I'm tough as nails. The number
2?
Like 6? Yeah, I'm going to go with 6.
6? Okay. I'm going to go with the number, let's see, I'm going with Svedak, 1860. 1860.
Okay.
And you went with 6. Okay. And our number is, are you kidding? 180.
180. Let's go. Morten Thoresen, you have qualified for this round and come out victorious. Moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
I just don't even understand. Okay, well, I guess that's the power of the random number, and this has been the power of the random Wikipedia pages. If you've enjoyed any of this, and I hope you have, make sure to listen when we post these. It's usually once a week. It hasn't been lately. Life got busy. But subscribe so you will get notified when it does show up, and your phone will even download it for you. And if you really enjoy it, make sure to go leave a rating, maybe put down a comment, and maybe even share it with someone who might like it too.
That's right. And if you want to go ahead and make us our own Wikipedia article so we can trip over ourselves just like we do our words, feel free to do that, and it might show up in the next episode of
The ultimate tournament of everything.